Folks, welcome to another video from Captain Special. It's been a while. It's another Gullwing Airlines flight. We're doing something different today. We got a new aircraft in the fleet and a new division, a cargo division opening up, Gullwing Logistics. Turn the external volume down just a second. And so basically what this division is going to be based out west, doing a lot of mountain flying. So a lot of stuff into, say, Aspen, Vail, Jackson Hole, some of those fun airports out there. So we got the BAe146. It's completely slant alpha. This is the Just Flight BAe146. No GPS, because the GPS options or the FMS options are not realistic, unfortunately. This plane most commonly uses a UNS-1 FMS, but the ones that Just Flight offers are just the GTN 750 or the Universal FMC, which is not the UNS, but it's kind of a quasi-Boeing FMC, and then the default laminar one. So we're just going slant alpha for now. We're doing some proving routes up out of Denver, going over to Aspen and Vail. So that's why the aircraft's currently Denver, but we're bringing it back to its home base in Albuquerque. We actually got some cargo load. It's being loaded right now. So we're going to get over the airplane. We got power already set to the airplane. Started doing the pre-flight, so we're going to come over the cabin, finish that, and then we'll do a walk around. Something going on with the reflections out in the cabin. I gotta go fix that. But so the airplane, so we started reloading. We got fuel and cargo on board, 15,000 pounds of cargo and about 12,000 pounds of fuel. Gone through the initial safety checks. We have external power to the airplane, and right now we're going through our ground tests. So first we'll do our zone loops, A, and we're checking on master warning systems, and B, and we'll do our stall ident. See that red light next to the airspeed indicator, and then we'll do system 2, and so see that red light, and then stall warning, stall ident. So stall warning is your stick shaker, stall ident is a stick pusher. You see the light over here says start valve or stall valve open. That's a pneumatic valve that's going to drive that stick shaker or stick pusher forward. Excuse me. We'll go ahead and check anti-skid fault, and we see light. So on goes out, and then we'll check both the yellow and green system. System, which I think is actually correct. Rear bay, high tap, get the light. Flap safety switch. Flapping up. And then flap control faults. It's just the light should be bright. Never off, but there should be integral light here. Okay. Spot switch. All right. Get our external aircraft lights on. So nav light turn low intensity, no smoke, zoom on, cabin emergency, turn the entry lights on. Air conditioning, everything's auto. We don't have any air coming in the cabin right now. We'll get the APU on in a second. hydraulics, DC pump, brake pressure looks good. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna depress the brake pedals a little bit. That brake pressure comes off. So now we're gonna turn the DC pump, hold DC pump on. That brake pressure come up. And that parking brake in there. And this doesn't really function properly. You're supposed to hold the pedals and lift the brake. I think they have it the old X-Plane way, where it's just a single button. So if you're holding the brake while you actually press the parking brake like you're supposed to, it doesn't actually work. But the DC pump, just get those topped off at 3,000. Okay, and then we'll check our AC pump. It's an AC pump pressurized in the yellow system. So that should really get us to 3,000. PTU on. Yeah. So PTU bumped up to 3,000. AC kick on and off. We'll kind of swing between there. Oh, there we go. Now we're at 3,000. Alright, so PTU's working. AC pump is working. So come back off. And before we go to the next step, let's go and do our walk around. So alright, first off, windows of the airplane. So we have our static port, we have our pilot's PO static tube, our angle attack or stall main, we have our ice detector would be something that's modeled a little forward here, and we have our subject's Q sensor. TAT probe. Check the radome, make sure those latches are shut. Check the windscreens, obviously damage cracks, no balloon damage. Turn that sound down a little bit. Down here, it looks like here we got the TAT probe. Another hedostatic, and the first officer's Q field system and stall warning system. I think we're actually missing a probe. Look at nose landing gear, checking the tire condition, any signs of leaks. On the left side, we have our oxygen bottle. So if the oxygen bottle, this is blew out, there'd actually be red streamers coming down. Sometimes these change color, but in this case, there'd actually be red streamers that pop out of there. And here we have our hydraulics bay. So we'll be looking at our hydraulic reservoirs and accumulators. So make sure the reservoirs are at the right fluid level and our accumulators have the right nitrogen pressure load. Alright, coming back to the leading edge and the engines. Make sure the inspection covers no bolts missing or any damage. Check the engine, leading edge, nacelle, and then fan blades for obvious damage. Engine mix to the fire axis, make sure this is shut, and then there's a green indicator. Make sure that doesn't show that our fireballs have been discharged or overpressurized, and also looking at the blow-off panels on the pylon to make sure there's no overprecision event. Coming in, we got our landing and taxi light, and looking at engine number 4, same thing. Got the extinguisher relief, got oil access, and then checking the pylon. Up here we have our NACA duct. This is our fuel vent, so make sure that is clear. Nav lights. It's our aileron, so we should static looks are in place. Like the MD-80, this actually has servo tabs, so the aileron is not directly connected to the yoke. Only the servo tabs are, and they actually fly the aileron up and down. It's a little bit of a modeling bug here. It looks like these rod end bearings kind of just are supposed to be underneath that fairing, but they kind of poke through. Checking the flap fairings, any damage on the hinges, and then the flap track. And then coming in the main landing gear bay, check the condition of the tires, brake wear pins, and then looking for any obvious signs of leaks or damage. And we have APU exhaust up here, and then we have pack intake and exhaust. Check our air brake, nav light, and the tailplane. Again, same thing, servo tabs. And these are actually split elevators, so they don't necessarily have to be parallel. Just like the MD-80, you get a lot of weird looks when your elevators are going in different directions. And our APU inlet and other pack exhaust. Drain mass, toilet servicing. Let's let them load here. Gotta fix the animation here. I don't know why that's up so high. But we'll come back, look at our left wing, again, check the aileron. This one's modeled correctly, as you can see. Check the flat track fairings, left side landing gear. Check those brake wear pins, check for any leakage. Left nav light, fuel vent. And check our engine extinguisher relief. Fan blades, cowl, leading edge, pylons. Everything looks pretty good. Okay, let's come back aboard the airplane. Alright, let's finish our pre-flight safety checks and then we'll jump into the OFP and review that. So glare shield, we're going to turn our flight directors on and our VHF nav radios on. We'll set this up in a little bit and then we'll check flight enunciators. So we get the lift support on both sides and all the flight enunciators. Center panel, current standby test. Comm radios are on. Our flight control disconnects are in place. Yaw dampers 1 and 2. Autopilot is off. Brake temp, we'll go test. We'll go on, so we got the max right there. Alright, and then we'll check our PA and crew calls, even though it's cargo, it's only 2 people on board, we'll check it anyway. Alright, let's pull up the OFP. And actually we're going to connect to VATSIM. Actually, you know what? Gotta pre-file the flight plan. Give me 1 second here. my alpha. That was loud. Alright, we're on VATSIM now. We've got our auto PDC. Alright, so come back. Our flight plan. So we've flight. This is 912. Gullwing 912, level 310, top climb winds 28058, estimated time of Route 121, block fuel 11873, we got our fuel already in there. So let's come down, let's check the weather. Weather looks good in both places. Alright, origin weather, Denver, winds at east 9 knots, 10 statute mile view. Denver 3013, so I'll just put that in. 3013. 3013. 3013. And this doesn't actually have a barrel select, which is kind of annoying. There's no click spot for it, but our altitude. So above 28, we just put it at 28 because you can't go any higher. It's the highest cabin altitude we can get. And then destination weather, Albuquerque, winds out of the south 3 knots, and 10-mile visibility. So nothing, hardly any clouds in the sky, which is unfortunate because it'd be nice to experience the cool X-plane weather. But we're not going to see that. So looking at NOTAMs. Oh, did it give me FIR NOTAMs? I thought I'd select those. Alright, Denver. Looking at just runway close or something that's going to affect the departure procedure. Alright, 17 left, 35 right is closed. That's good to know. So come back here. So not that we were going to use that runway anyway, but now we know we'll probably go 17 right. Regular surface, okay, that's fine. Alright, so on the Pikes 3 departure, Alamos transition banking system not available. ALS Vortac out of service, so we're going Pueblo transition. So not doing Alamosa, so that's, or Black Forest. Alright, so that's good for us. Okay, and then we'll go down to Albuquerque and see airdrop area. Lots of unmanned stuff. What a runway 8. Alright, we don't have to look at Santa Fe. So it doesn't appear to be anything on the flight plan that would impact our flight or the NOTAMs. So let's go ahead and now get the aircraft nav set up. So there's no ATC on today at Denver, so we're gonna go right out 17 right. So we're gonna go Pikes 3. Takeoff minutes standard. Initial climb, fly assigned heading for radar vectors to assigned route climb, maintain 10,000 or assigned. So we'll set 10,000, alt arm. And then for here, it looks like we're going to be on a 159 on the Denver VOR. So the Denver VOR is 1179. And then it's going to be on a 159 course. And then we'll be tracking that to Adane, which is on the Colorado Springs, sorry, Black Forest, which is 112.5. And that is the 091 radial. So that'll be our cross. And once we cross that, we're going to be on a 174 to Pueblo at 116.7. So there's our backup. DME's in standby. You can pick up the Denver VOR now and test it. Okay, Denver is identified. And we can do, I don't know if we'll get Black Forest, so I guess we can try. Alright, Black Forest is identified. Okay, we do have a lot of terrain over to the west, so that's why we're staying heading east and tracking this. And then from there, our route will take us from Pueblo, and we have a sharp left turn over to Lamar, all the way down to Fort Union, and then we're on the 304 arrival, excuse me, into Albuquerque. Alright, leave that departure up here. So for heading, we're just gonna go, we're going to 159 heading. Right, and now also look at performance. So OAT today is just about 19 degrees. So I use a paper performance table. It's actually in the FCOM from Just Flight. But basically, just for your flex temp, you get your altitude, which 5,500 feet. So we'll just use a 6,000. It's not worth interpolating. And then it'll say 20 degrees. So that's 92.8% N1. So at that same altitude, at 55 degree temperature, our N would be 87.7. So 55 to 20, that's a 35 degree swing. So 35 degrees, coming down to the bottom of the table, we do our T-flex minus our T-ambient, that's 5.6%. So we subtract 5.6 from 92.8, that gets us 87.2. So we come down to TMS, we'll do power on, we'll do a test. Alright, test complete, so takeoff. We're going to make our T-ref. It's just 93.7, so if we make our T-ref oh sorry, we had 25 degree difference. Did I do that wrong? Oh no, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong chart. Yeah, so we were correct before. So it's a 35 degree difference. 92.8 minus 5.6 is 87.2. So if we bring this up 55, 87.9. Alright, so that's the highest TRF we can get, so we'll do 87.9. And we're going to set our bugs. So we have our takeoff cards. So it will be a flaps 18 takeoff, VR123, and V2 of 131, which are bugged here. Flap clean speed is 174. It's the red. And then our en route climb speed is 184. That would be the yellow. So we're going to do a NADP 1 departure. So we're going to reduce the climb thrust, maintain V2 plus 10, take off pick about 800 feet. And at 3,000 feet, we'll be in climb thrust, and then we will accelerate and retract that. So 3,000 feet AGL will be 9,500 feet on the departure. And it's pretty simple departure. We're straight out for 55 miles. So we shouldn't get too busy or overwhelmed on the departure. All right, that's been a lot of setup and checks going on. So almost ready to go. Start the engines. So to call better pushback, we got a pushback mirror. Call me through the menu when you are ready. Alright, so let's go ahead and get the APU on. So APU air is off, left inner fuel pump is on. So start the APU. Lights go out. And then APU power available, APU gen. We get the gen offline, and click that, gen's online. So now external AC power, which automatic comes off. We don't have an indication it's off, other than the APU is providing the load. We turn it off, and we're down GPU. Okay, doors and hatches are not closed, but we can get them closed. And we turn our yellow pump on. Close side cargo. See that freight door light. Alright, that's out. And AC pump's coming off. So connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake. Alright, give us 1 second. We gotta go. Came faster than expected. So, alright, pre-flight checklist. Intune external checks completed, restowed. O2 has been checked. Let's get the oxygen on. Delay and check the mask. Flight data recorder, transponder. We had 3337. Transponder's on. Air conditioner, it's been a minute now. So turn APU air on. And we'll turn packs 1 and 2 on. Pressurization set 28,000 feet. Ice detector, so flip that switch on. It's guarded, so we can't turn it off. TMS N1 87.9 is set. Flow meters, 0, all of those. Fuel contents, we have kilograms here, so 2727 is 5,400 kilograms. That's going to be over 11,000 pounds. So we're good. Briefing and MSA check is complete. brakes set to park, and we have yellow pressure. Navigators set. Altimeters, we have 3013, 3013, 3013 set, checked. 4-star checklist. Our documents complete with our final load sheet. Master warning systems tested and on. Speeds have been set and cross-checked, and mobile phones are off. Okay, before start, passenger seatbelt sign is on. Doors and windows are closed and locked. We'll tell our non-existent.
Cabin crew, arm doors and cross-check.
Hydraulics are all off. The beacon is on. Now you got the packs on. We got packs and APU air. Come off. Engine anti-ice is on. So anti-ice in these engines has to be on for start. It helps prevent surging. Fuel pumps all come on. Start panel. So our start power is normal. Turn the start master on. And we're going to start number 2 first, and then we'll release the brake.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Alright, clear start 2. So we're going to come ground ignition. It's an odd day, so we're turning ground ignition to A. And then we're hit start. We have ignition A on, starter operating. And then we're watching number 2, 10% and 2. There we go. Fuel is on. Watch the TGT.
The cabin crew have been released to begin their service, but please note
Whoa, what is going on? Ooh, what the hell? What is going on? What the hell just happened there? Better push back. You were drunk. Alright, well, we got a good start on number 2. Switch over number 3. Fuel's on. TGT's coming up. What the hell is going on with better pushback? You do all these test runs and everything works great, and then you go to actually make the video and better pushback just decides to whip you around like a rag doll. Alright, so good start on 2 and 3. Turn start master off for now. Turn APU air on. Turn pack 1, which is cockpit, and recirc. And I'll wait till they actually disconnect us. So the reason we start 2 and 3 in the 146 is because that is our hydraulics. Alright, parking brake set. So 2 and 3 have hydraulics, 1 and 4 have the generators. APU can provide the electrics, but we really need the hydraulics because that has braking. That's the most important for taxiing. Braking and steering. So those are engine-driven pumps. So you got the dual redundancy there. Alright, so looking for the pin. Alright, so we're going to hold the after start checks for now, because we want to make sure that we have all 4 engines running before we go do that. So in this, I have the Bravo set so I can. Alright, see ya. So when I start with the Bravo, I come out of the detent and it works. It goes from fuel off to on, but the throttle won't work unless I manually just click and drag just a hair, just that much. Um, but I don't know what causes it. But if anyone else has that problem, that's why. Just click it, drag it up a notch, and then it'll work fine. All right. So there's the pin. So let's get yeah, CTAF. Let's see 4.3. All right. Check the altimeter. Right. Yeah, I should have pulled the ATIS, but we'll just. Actually, you know what? Let's get the ATIS. Make sure it hasn't changed.
Denver traffic, Southwest 3198 departing runway 08 on the XM7 departure to the east. Denver traffic.
Alright, so we got our taxi route. So we're coming out of Sierra Charlie, and we're going to go up Mike 217 right at Mike 10. Denver traffic Gullwing 912 coming out of Sierra Charlie, taxi to runway 17 right via Mike Denver. Okay. Taxi lights on, parking brakes
Denver
off.
traffic, United 2453 is entering the ramp. We are Bravo Sierra. Good night, everybody. Denver traffic, United 2031 lining up runway 8 behind me, departing 737.
So this scenery, I love how it has such a steep ramp coming out. Try and build up some speed getting above this bad boy, especially on 2 engines.
Denver traffic, United 2031 departing runway 8, Denver.
Turn DV on. Now that we're away from the ramp. Also do a flight control check, so full aft, full left, full right, forward, just checking our roll spoilers, full aft, center, and neutral. Come on. Come on. Don't stop on me. Yeah, I don't know if this ramp is this steep in real life. I somehow doubt it is, but
Denver traffic, 2031, climb through 6,500 for 370 departing airspace to the northeast.
alright, we are clear to the right, clear to the left. Back on level ground. Again, clear to the right, clear to the left. Alright, let's start 1 and 4, give them time to warm up. So packs are gonna come off. APU air is gonna come off. Start, still on A. Start power is normal. Start master is on. Over at 4. And ignition and starter operating. And we got N2. 10%. Fuel on. Okay, stable, and let's go over to 4. Opening. Yeah. The system depth on this is pretty good. You know, I'm not a 146 pilot, but I've gone extensively through some computer-based training and all the FCOMs and manuals I could find in it. It's usually a pretty good job. I do wish some of the animations were smoother. Like I'm getting like 50 frames per second, but the dial animations are kind of jerky. Some of the texturing isn't great. Certain areas, I know it's only a $45 airplane, but I would have rathered a $60, $70 airplane that has the fidelity of, say, the Microsoft version, especially with the UNS. That really would have made this killer, but only so much you can do. Alright, so we got 4 good starts. We'll come back to our after start checklist. Chocks and ground equipment is removed. Start panel. Okay. Off. APU air, come back on. And we get packs 1 and 2. Engine anti-ice can now all come off. Generators, so we're going to check generator 1. Good, generator 1 come online. Gen 2. We got to put it to the offline position. Stay on the taxiway. We're going really fast here. Alright, generator 2 is good. That comes online. Galley power, come on. Brake fans, going to auto. See those brakes heating up already. Heaters. Screen heat. About everything is coming on. Packs are both on. And hydraulics, pump 1 and 2, AC pump is auto, and PTU is on. Alright. Before takeoff, check. brakes. Green, check, works, and set yellow. Thanks. There we get the anti-skid. Anti-skid in op. Oh, there we go. Now anti-skid back. Flaps. Set for takeoff. Trim. In the green band. 1, 2, 3 trims set. Do a config check. Flaps still moving.
Denver traffic, American 1649 heavies on a, they'll call 15-mile final ILS, 16 left, 10,000 descending 8,000. Boston traffic, or Denver traffic.
Alright, config's good. Flight instruments. So heading course set 117.9, it's been identified. So we got the Pikes departure here. MSA is 9200. So any master cautions or warnings, we're going to stop below 80 knots. We're going to stop, cancel the master caution warning, exit the runway if able, and deal with the problem. Above 80 knots, below B1, it's only for engine fire, or airframe fire, structural failure, fear that the airplane won't fly, or wind shear or engine failure. Alright, cabin is secure. So I'll go blowing by it. Landing lights coming on, strobe light, come on. For the radar, the terrain radar is not working, unfortunately. Denver traffic Gullwing 912 departing runway 17 right, southbound Pikes 3 departure, Denver. Alright, continuous ignition, alpha on, and CMR final. On.
Denver traffic, American 1649 heavies on a 6-mile short final, ILS 16 left, Denver traffic.
There's no factor. Okay. And brake release, and these throttles up. And we're waiting for all those blue triangles to go out. There you go.
Speed aligned both sides.
A little bit of crosswind from the left.
80 knots was checked. B1. Rotate. B2.
Come on. Alright.
Positive rate of climb, 0.
Now we use that sync mode. So we're looking for 400 feet. Okay. We're gonna fly to our heading. heading. And try to maintain that V2. V2 plus 10. So 9,500. Go 12,000 from your target. Okay, now we can turn to intercept that radio. RMVOR. Okay, it's coming in.
Denver traffic, American 1649 heavy is clear, 16 left, taking Foxtrot to the Alpha Gates. Denver traffic.
Okay. All right, 9,500. Accelerate.
The MTO, safe flight speed, same to lap time.
Okay. We're just going to 31,000 now. Alright, so we're tracking VOR, we're going to turn autopilot on. And IAS mode, nope. Don't want, why are you descending on? On IS. We're trying to climb about 250. And do after takeoff checks. Gears up, flaps 0, TMS. Set target. Turn engineer on. APU air come off. Packer on. Cabin release. Fuel ignition can come off. Their APU. Come off. And our PTU and our AC pump. Alright, so it's 55.1 miles, we're at 17.6. This is our crossing. We cross, we're going to be on a 174 to Pueblo. So because we don't have a preset, I'll get you nav. Really, It's good for crossing, or if you need to split and go to, or turn off split and go to nav 2, then it'll track over here. But it's kind of different than something like the old FlyJSim 727, where you had 2 sets of nav radios. And you could, I think if I remember correctly, you could have the autopilot controlled by either one. Here, it's always controlled by the captain, but the captain can display either here or VHF2, VHF1 or VHF2. So it's a little different philosophy. So we gotta be IIS mode. We're gonna climb at like 250 knots. We're through 18,000, so set standard 1, 2, 3. Look at that nose down, accelerate. Let's look under our lights. Alright, we're still climbing pretty well. We're gonna sync our heading. Climbing in pitch mode now. That's why I was so loud. Alright, so 55 miles. Got about 10 to go. So what we're going to do is, with about 5 miles to go, we're going to turn off the localizer. So it will just be in a roll mode. Could go heading, but when you hit heading, I think just the X-plane autopilot tends to want to start drifting left and right before it settles back, even though you're already on the heading. So we'll turn off VRO localizer mode, we'll wait for the flag to flip over here, or the CDI to cross, and while we're doing that, we'll switch over to the Pueblo VR 116.7. So let's do that now. So it's roll mode. We're going to switch here. We're going to identify it. Your 174 course. Alright, so that looks right. So as soon as, alright, our CDI is starting to cross. Once it does. Okay. Now we're backtracking Pueblo. And we're going to track this right down to 0. So then, that'll be the end of our arrival. So after Pueblo, we have Lamar. So that's going to be 116.9. And so Pueblo outbound is going to be 266. And then when we're inbound, it's going to be 083. Well, what did I do? Alright, we got 1,000 to go. So we're going to put on engine sync mode. At this weight, be at about 91.5. Stay there. And no auto throttles. And unfortunately, it doesn't come with the best performance tables. Kind of had to dig around for them. So, looking here, ISA plus 5. What's your actual weight in kilograms? 36,000 kilograms. So, yeah, it's going to be 91.4. Or like 96. That's well, it's at 29,000 feet, so. It's a little too aggressive. We got 15 to go. Yeah, right on that clacker. And clacking is slacking. All right, so 10 miles to Pueblo. It's going to be a 086. So we're going to turn this. To 086. Now, if we just, because of the sharp corner, if we just did this, we would drastically overshoot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lead us in the turn a little bit. When we get to about 5 miles. Okay, so flag flip. Cone of confusion. And we're going to arm VOR. See, we're very much so in the cone of confusion. Looks like we lost the VOR. It did not, this airplane does not track the VOR very well. Like the FlyJSim, I never had trouble swapping, but this one, you really gotta weed it, and if you're close to the VOR, if you're in that cone of confusion, it just sometimes just flat up won't work. Alright, so we got 82 miles on this leg. Alarm VRR lift again. Hopefully it'll recapture it this time. There we go. Alright, we got the VOR. So there was a mod to put the weather radar on here. I saw on the forums. I haven't gotten it to work or do anything. Maybe I might have done something wrong. But it also seemed to mess with the compass or the DG. Everything was like off by like 15 or 20 degrees, and I couldn't figure out what it was. I thought it was maybe was the DG not slaved, or was it not set correctly? I mean, it's an HSI, it should just be slaved. It says it's slaved to the compass, but turns out it was actually something. I think when I made that update, somehow hooked it to the UFMC, and then there's a bug in there. So hopefully that gets resolved, because it'd be really nice to have actual weather radar. Okay.
Denver traffic, Swiss 4 Echo Kilo, we're on final runway 16 left.
Alright, so 82-mile leg. We'll change over at this toddy right here, which is 38 miles. So we're coming up on it, and then we're going to change over to Lamar on 1169. That's going to be a 083. And see, we have this very tight corner here. So again, we're gonna cut this a little bit. Swap 083. Let's wait. It's gonna find it. Think for a little bit. There you go. So let's check. It's a lot. Single pilot. So let's see. Over Pueblo, 9,000 pounds of fuel. Come here, our cheat sheet. We're doing a little. We're just at 9,100, and we're already well past Pueblo. So at Lamar, we should have 8.3. So we'll check it again once we cross Lamar. And also, while we have, after we do that, we'll have a 192-mile leg, and we'll start getting ready for our approach and descent. Fortunately, I just have the default landing machinery here. Looks like my tile ended.
Denver traffic, Curtis Call, United 472, pushing back, gate 8, Bravo 8.
Go over to Unicom. So next leg is going to be 212. So you can see here, so our Calvin altitude, 8,500. DP, we don't exceed the limit. So the altitude only goes up this high. So we can only really set this to 28,000 feet. And at 28,000, it maintains that same Kelvin altitude, but the outside altitude increases, therefore the delta P goes up. But we're still under the max delta P. So this is a really cool and unique airplane. I mean, a lot of the twin engine planes, even even between Airbus and Boeing, there's a lot of similarities. This has a lot of unique, cool stuff on it. A lot of systems you got to learn. I've really enjoyed learning it. It's it's just one of those planes, like a lot of stuff in flight sim. It's so close to being like excellent. It's very good, and with a few more things. Granted, I know adding a whole FMS is not just an easy thing, but it could really go from the realm of good to excellent. Why are pack valves on? Auto. Engineer is on. Oh, 5 miles, so start that turn. We got a little bit distracted there. Change this to 212. And keep that turn coming all the way around. Now we overshot by a bit. And once we're back on intercept heading, we'll put it back to VOR localizer. Next VOR is Fort Union 1173. Why, speaking of that heading issue, why is it not holding on the heading bug? 6.9, right? Yeah, that's Lamar. Why? Now we got winds out of the west, but we feel we're not this far off. Hold this heading. No, don't turn. Hold this heading. Alright, now I see you guys moving. Well, I guess that wind out of the west is stronger than I thought. What does the OSP say? Winds 280. 58. Okay. We have a visor. Don't think one's modeled. Be nice if it was. So we're at fuel. Yeah, 83. So we're on schedule for fuel. A little ahead of schedule. Alright, so Fort Union, we got 161 miles to go. Let's start looking at the arrival of the Freeho 4. So Albuquerque ATIS 118.0. We'll throw that in VHF2. Probably won't get that for a while.
Albuquerque International Sun Airport ATIS information Juliet 2252 Zulu. West com. Visibility 10. Few clouds at 25,000. Temperature 27. 240. 3025. Simultaneous approach is in use. Arrivals expect visual approach runways 8 and runway 3. Departing runways 8 and runway 3. Notices to air missions brief and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact. You have information, Juliet.
Alright.
Albuquerque International Sun Airport ATIS information Juliet 2252 Zulu. West com. Visibility 1.
Alright, so winds calm. So we're going to the air freight apron over here. So So we'll take visual runway 3. So coming back to our arrival, we're going to hit 4 Union. We're going to be our, it looks like there's air traffic control there. So we're probably going to get a contact me shortly. Let's start monitor 1328. And then we'll get approach in there too, 1274. So expect to cross Freeho at 15,000, and then basically vectors from there. So that should be pretty straightforward. Obviously, there's a lot of terrain around here. So yeah, this 11,900 MSA over the airport, 1090 to the south, 9100 to the west. But I'm expecting after 5 that's going to vector us for the routes, but we will look. Select our approach. So we'll have runway 3, ILS runway 3. That's going to be what we can do. Expect vectors, but we'll have the DME arc. The hell, might be fun. So if we do have to fly the ILS in here, we have ATIS, frequency 5 approach course 034. Final approach fix, we test cut 7400, and we 200 foot decision height at 5512. Get the airport elevation in here. So 5,500. Missed approach, we climb 5,900, then climbing left, turn to 8,000 direct Albuquerque VOR and hold. And then radar and DME is required, so the 10 DME arc. So we'll see if they make us fly that. We'll be monitoring the Albuquerque VOR on VHF2, and then VOR1 will also be the ILS. So it'll be twist 10, turn 10. We'll set it R23, so every 10 degrees after that, every time we cross that, we turn 10 degrees left, and we keep that, watch that DME. We can switch our DME to number 2. So we'll be monitoring 2, and then we can switch back to nav 1 when we get close to the ILS. So we have Pappies, just approach 5,900, climbing left turn, direct Albuquerque. So let's look at the NOTAMs. Make sure there's nothing on runway 3 at Albuquerque. Approach procedures. Runway 8. Okay, I don't see anything. Full, so we're category B, RVR 1,800 or half mile. Okay, looks pretty straightforward.
Southwest 559 Albuquerque Center, ready contact 45 miles northwest of KDEN-KABQ, flight level 320.
Gotta get more ortho out in the west. We've been flying here a lot.
1470 Albuquerque Center, yep.
This headwind's killing us. We went from 480 knots to 375 knots across the ground.
Flight 1470 Albuquerque Center, ready contact 64 miles west of Gilliman, flight level 370.
Albuquerque Center, good evening. Gullwing 912, flight level 310.
Gullwing 912 Albuquerque Center, ready contact 34 miles southwest of Toby, flight level 310. 7 Mike Delta Albuquerque Center, climb maintain flight level 430. Gullwing 912 cross Frio at maintain 15,000 Albuquerque landing east, Albuquerque altimeter 3025.
Cross for you, I'd maintain 15,000, going 912.
HS information, Juliet 22.
Alright, so still on Juliet. So we have 70 miles to get down there. We're not even going to start our descent until we cross Fort Union.
Albuquerque Center, good night. Southwest 2770, with you, flight level 350.
Southwest 2770 Albuquerque Center, ready to contact over at Toby, flight level 350. FedEx 1303, leaving airspace. Fort Worth Center's offline, frequency change approved.
Over to Yukon, FedEx 1303 Heavy, thanks for ATC.
So these are wrong. Heading bug.
November 7 Mike Delta, leaving airspace. LA Center offline, frequency change approved.
That's really annoying.
November 7 Mike Delta, thanks for the night.
Tell me the heading is all screwed up again. There in the cone of confusion. Sean.
Albuquerque Center, good evening.
Alright.
Southwest 114, flight level 350.
We're doing
Southwest
Dreadnought is
114,
290
Albuquerque,
knots.
center ready contact 40 miles east of Goliath, flight
So
level
it's 70
350.
miles. 70 divided by 2.
Southwest 114.
90.
Yeah, 8970 with you, flight level 390.
United 8970 Albuquerque, center ready contact 65 miles southwest of Drake, flight level 390.
Alright. We do about 1,000 foot per minute descent and get there, but we're gonna wait.
Center, hello, DOCOM 16, about 100 west of Angel Flyer 450.
.com 16 Albuquerque, center ready contact as reported, flight level 450.
No, doesn't want to do that. Only. Only just DG.
And DOCOM 16 has a request looking for lower and direct to Taos, the initial approach fix for the RNAV 17.
Notice to DOCOM 16 roger, descend at Taos, correction, maintain flight level 230, and you can proceed direct Taos, expect the RNAV runway 17 Angel Fire.
Mouse discretion to 230, direct Taos, and expect RNAV 17 Angel Fire for DOCOM 16.
So 50 divided by 322 times 60. Alright, so we start 1,700 foot per minute descent now. Alright, seatbelt signs are on. Let's wind this down to 15. And on the altitude, pull power back a little bit. You know, let's go VS. About 1,700 foot per minute. It's a little too much. Alright, so we also retracking Albuquerque 113.2. We have Juliet, we're looking for runway 3. So alright, we got some scenery coming back. We gotta remember we're a little higher than we expect.
Gullwing 912, contact Albuquerque, approach 127.4.
127.4, we're going 912, see ya. Albuquerque approach, good evening, Gullwing 912, 25.8, descending 15,000 on the Freeho 4, and we have information Juliet.
Gullwing 912, Albuquerque approach, roger, excuse me, Albuquerque altimeter 3025.
Roger, 3025, and we're looking to get runway 3 if that's possible for Gullwing 912.
Gullwing 912, roger, you can expect that.
Alright, 103.2, and that's on the 186. Zero, 006.
November 50 Papa, say altitude leaving.
50 Papa passing 6,800.
November 50 Papa, radar contact, proceed direct Albuquerque VOR.
Albuquerque VOR, 950 Papa.
Alright, descent checklist. Pressurization is set. Landing data confirmed and bugged. Flaps 30, landing. So VRF BAe146.
November 50 Papa, climb and maintain flight level 200.
Climb maintain flight level 200, 950 Papa.
That's weird. I hit bug. 58 miles. So like 25 miles, we gotta be at 15 miles. Alright, so it takes all the way to Albuquerque, and then we're getting vectors. So 111. Alright, there's the altitude alarm. It's at maintain. A little early. Why does autopilot mode randomly drop out? I had that armed. Level out, stupid son of a bitch. Alright, 25 miles. You'll gross weather, rather restriction, inspect my approach. Minimums. So decision height. $200.
50 Papa, contact Albuquerque Center, 132.8. Have a great flight, good night.
132.8 for 950 Papa, we'll see you, thanks.
Gullwing 912, descend and maintain 8,000, depart Albuquerque VOR 210 heading.
Descend and maintain 8,000, depart the Albuquerque VOR on a 210 heading, Gullwing 912. Turn TMS off. PC pump and PTU. Okay, come on. Fuel panel. Turn APU back on. APU is off. We've got the airport down there. We see it's runway 3. It's where we're landing. So we're on a wide extended downwind. Right, gen offline. Turn APU air on. Turn engine air off. APU gen online. Alright, 3 miles, we're almost 8,000.
Gullwing 912, Albuquerque Airport, 9 o'clock, 10 miles, port to field in sight.
Going 912, we have the field in sight.
Gullwing 912, cleared visual approach runway 3.
Cleared visual runway 3, going 912. So we are gonna fly this manually. So let's get down to 8,000, and we're gonna start our turn. It's a big boost, 12.3 out. So let's get the ILS line at 1115, and it's a 034.
Glide zones live, 1 left go.
8,900. Team 2, 4.6. Okay, 8,000. Six miles. That's our final approach to accept 400.
Autopilot disconnected.
Alright, let's start our turn. 1580,000. So 200 knots.
Speed checked below 205. Select flaps 18.
I go below 7,400. Hit the runway. There's a tower in there at all. I overshot a little bit. Okay. No, I have no DME. But I got glide slope. So I go flap 18.
Speed checked below 205. Select gear down. Speed checked below 180. Select flaps 24.
Alright, this thing slows way down once you start getting gear and flaps out, so
Speed checked
I'm
below
intentionally staying a little high and fast.
Select flap 33.
This isn't something you go on a nice
Gullwing 912, wind calm, runway 3 clear to land.
clear to land runway 3, Gullwing 912. Yeah, landing lights on, gears on. AQs on, engineering, go through the steering. It's 13. And full flap. Okay, gear down, 3 green, flaps armed, flaps down, landing lights are on, clear to land. Continue.
Ground idle. Yellow and green spoilers.
Balanced it.
Brake pressure C. 80 knots. 60 knots.
We're on Charlie. And approach Gullwing 912. We're off runway 3 on Charlie. Taxi to the cargo area off of Foxtrot.
Gullwing 912, thanks for parking via Foxtrot. Have a great night.
Parking via Foxtrot. You too. See ya. Strobes. Next, discharge valve. Open. HNTS not required. Lights to taxi. Light director DME hold is off. Sea approach is off. Radar and terrain display is off. So APU power is available, so return. Generators off, and then 1 and 4 can come off. Okay, we're pulling here. Danger prop area. Alright, parking brake set. Let's get these lights off so I'm blind. Ground crew. Alright, brake set, hydraulics, PTU off. Do this in the reverse order. Engine pumps. And come off. And then 2 and 3. Fuel off.
Cabin crew, doors to manual and cross-check.
Beacon comes off. Seatbelt sign, come off. Fuel pumps. Engine anti-ice is already off. Ice detect. Off master warning system and transponder. Okay, turn pack. APU air off. Shocks are in. Oh. Come on. How do we do this? Out. No, out. Rotate green. There we go. In. Shocks are in. So hook up the GPU. Check and make sure power quality is good. I'm gonna turn that on. And then APU gen come off. Galley come off. Like the emergency lights come off. And we will shut down the APU. Explorers, and then all our avionics. Leave the brake fans on for now. And it's all she wrote. Side cargo door. Get the air stairs out. Okay. And it's off. Well, wasn't a perfect flight. Still got a lot to learn. This is not an easy airplane, and kind of pissed off about some of the bugs, especially with the heading bug. I mean, it's like crucial to fly this plane effectively, and it just it was working, and then it just was off by 15 degrees. So might be something like the DG code, like it's getting gyro drift, but doesn't seem like a way to reset it. It should be just slaved to the compass. So I'm gonna post on the forums and see what they have to say. But let's get a replay. Let's send us back in about here. Oh, further than that. You see this, the massive flaps on this airplane. Unfortunately, I don't have wing views in here. So coming in, what's our speed? Speed's right on the money. The bounce. Hold that pitch attitude, hold it off there. And then the brake. The lifts, I don't know why the lift spoilers aren't in the replay. We definitely had the lift spoilers, so let's go. Go back. Check it from another angle. I love that view of the mountains in the background. Let's get a screenshot of that. Alright. Well, I think that's all she wrote here. So that was our first video with Gullwing. There's gonna be a lot more. We're gonna go to some cool airports, do some much more difficult approaches. Probably make a lot more mistakes, but we're having fun. We're learning. So if you like what you see, give a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and see everyone later.